Hi guys, David O'Sullivan here, and I just got back from my third day at the London Film Festival, and today I just saw one film, but it was one that I was really looking forward to, and it was Good Time, directed by the Safdie brothers and starring Robert Pattinson. And this is a film that, although I was really excited to see, I didn't really know a whole lot about. I didn't see any trailers, and I purposely avoided all trailers because I didn't really want to know too much about this movie. I wanted to go in not knowing a whole lot and be really surprised by what I saw, and that was definitely the case. Although I had a vague idea what this film was going to be like, it was going to be kind of a crime thriller with Robert Pattinson. That was kind of all I knew, and so I was really pleasantly surprised seeing this movie for the first time, because it was, and I can totally understand why everyone's raving about it. It's one of the biggest reasons why I was so excited, so looking forward to seeing it, was because everyone who's seen the movie was saying it was absolutely amazing, so I couldn't wait to see it for myself, and I can totally understand why everyone was raving about this film. It was a really great, really cool, really kind of unconventional crime caper film, and although I was thinking maybe it'll be a little bit of a conventional kind of by the numbers, maybe crime thriller, it really wasn't that at all. It was really kind of edgy and different, and I love that about it. It wasn't by the books at all. It went against the grain. It was really unconventional. It defied kind of typical genre conventions. It didn't play out in a typical movie fashion at all. It avoided all the tropes and all the cliches, and that's what I really liked about this movie. It found really refreshing and really kind of cool and exciting to watch, because it was surprising. It played out in ways you didn't expect. It didn't go in the typical movie way, and I really like what the Safdie brothers did with this film, that they decided to take it in this very kind of bold, different kind of direction. They didn't play it safe at all. It was very kind of cool and quirky and different. There was also a lot of great humour in this film. It was great because it was this kind of really kind of gritty, street level, intense crime caper thriller almost, but at the same time it had this edge to it, and it had some kind of great touches of humour as well, and that's what I thought was really good. And Robert Pattinson, I absolutely loved in this film. I was never really a big fan of Robert Pattinson or Kristen Stewart in their kind of Twilight days, but ever since Twilight I've loved both of them in terms of the projects they've been picking, especially Robert Pattinson and everything he's been doing in recent years, all the films he's been appearing in, especially these kind of these low budget kind of really great indie films. He was in Lost City of Z earlier this year, and we thought he was great in that. And like Lost City of Z, this was another kind of indie A24 film as well, and he was almost unrecognisable in this film. I remember, even though I hadn't seen any trailers for the film, I saw the pictures of Robert Pattinson as that main character, and yeah, he was really great. As I said, almost unrecognisable, but a really great performance from him. One of his best performances, I think. He really immersed himself into that role, and you didn't see Robert Pattinson on the screen. You believed he was that character. And this film had that kind of that intense kind of grittiness and edginess to it, where it felt real. It felt almost documentarian in a way, especially in terms of how it was filmed. It was very kind of, there was a lot of close-ups. There was a lot of extreme close-ups. It was very kind of, right in there, in your face. And that's what I think one of the reasons we made it so good. It was like you were really in it, from beginning to end, and it was really full on, really intense. The score as well, one last thing I have to mention, had this 80s synthesized kind of score, and I loved it. It made it even more intense and riveting, on the edge of your seat. That pulse pounding electric 80s style synthesized score I loved. And yeah, it was just a really cool, almost 90s-ish kind of crime thriller, really edgy, really cool, really different, kind of funny as well. And yeah, I actually really enjoyed this film. So there we go, Good Time. I definitely recommend seeing it if you haven't already. It might have already opened in the US, I think, in a limited release. Probably not going to open here in the UK for a while. But yeah, I definitely recommend seeing Good Time whenever you get the chance to, because it was really cool, really different, and I actually really enjoyed it. Just come back from my fourth day here at the London Film Festival, and today I actually saw two films, and the first film I'm going to be talking about in this second part of my vlog is Last Flag Flying. And this is a new film by Richard Linklater that stars Bryan Cranston, Steve Carell, Lawrence Fishburne, and it basically revolves around these three former Vietnam buddies who are reunited, and the story basically revolves around them getting back together and rekindling their friendship with one another. And going into this one, I was actually really looking forward to seeing it because I'm a big fan of Richard Linklater. He's one of my favourite directors, and yeah, I'll see anything and everything he does. I mean, Boyhood, that came out a few years ago, I absolutely love Boyhood. I think it's probably one of the best films of the 21st century. I think it's absolutely amazing. And just School of Rock, just everything he's done, I think he's amazing. But that being said, I wasn't like really out of my mind excited for this because I hadn't really heard much as far as kind of reactions and response from other people who had seen it. All I really heard was that it was supposed to have just been okay, that it was just alright. So I wasn't really that out of my head excited. But that being said, I was really happy with this film. I actually really enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to, because I didn't know if it was going to be my kind of film. I know I'm a big fan of Richard Linklater, and I'm a big fan of like most of his films as well, but I didn't know if it was going to be the kind of film that that would connect with me and that I'd be able to kind of that would really resonate with me. But it was, it was a bit unorthodox in respect. It was basically just these guys, trying to figure out, their lives and their friendship with one another in the midst of trying to sort out this one event, really. But I think it worked. I mean, maybe the story did drag at times, but for the most part, I really enjoyed myself with this film, and it had that kind of warmth and humour that Richard Linklater brings to all his films. Like School of Rock, for example. That's the film that in any other director's hands it probably wouldn't have worked, but with Richard Linklater, his films are always so kind of authentic and uplifting. They feel real, and they've got that warmth and that humour there. And this film definitely had that. It was a lot funnier than I was expecting, particularly Bryan Cranston. He was kind of the real kind of comedic relief in the movie, if you will. And yeah, he was a real scene stealer. He stole almost every scene he was in. But the other two guys were really great as well. Laurence Fishburne, just great as always, in a kind of different kind of role, but he still brings those Laurence Fishburneisms into it. And Steve Carell also in a very different role than we've ever seen him before. I mean, he's done some dramatic films before, but this is a very toned down, very kind of understated, very kind of a quieter, more dramatic performance from Steve Carell, and I actually really liked it. I thought it was really good, and just those three of them together, I really enjoyed their chemistry, because the film really is about those three guys and their former friendship and them getting back together, and then their kind of their unorthodox relationships with one another. And yeah, I thought it was really great. It was really kind of poignant, but also life-affirming portrait, I felt, of kind of grief, of guilt, of war, of faith, of friendship. It had all these different themes at play. I felt like it really worked. It wasn't always firing cylinders all the time, but with those three actors all at the top of their game, their chemistry, their performances, it always worked for me, and I actually really enjoyed myself with this film. So there we go, Last Flag Flying. And the second film I saw today, and the last film I'm going to be talking about in this second part of my London Film Festival vlog, was Battle of the Sexes. And this is one that I was really looking forward to. Of course, the story revolving around Billie Jean King and Bobby Riggs and the famous kind of match that they had, famous kind of Battle of the Sexes match, this big show that was put on to prove that, women are kind of equal to men and could play against men. And I really enjoyed this movie. Now, it's not like some amazingly deep film or anything like that, but it was a real kind of fun, stylish, kind of very kind of crowd pleasing film. You can tell the audience really enjoyed it and got really kind of engaged towards the end, especially when we saw this match going down. It was almost like we were actually there watching the real match happen. And Emma Stone and Steve Carell were both really great. They both embody those characters so well and so convincingly. You never one second doubted that they were the real people that they were playing. They're both so great. Emma Stone shone really brightly in this film. She's one of my favourite actresses working today, and in this film once again proves that she's really versatile, really great actress. The Oscar win for La La Land wasn't a fluke. She was amazing in that film, fully deserved her Oscar win for that, but she's also really great in this as Billie Jean King, almost unrecognisable, but she did a really great job. Steve Carell was also great. It's funny actually, watching Last Flag Flying and Battle of the Sexes back to back, two Steve Carell films, but both very different Steve Carell performances. It's only when you watch two of those kind of films back to back, you realise how great of an actor Steve Carell is. You know, you can do a much more somber, quieter, dramatic performance in Last Flag Flying, and then you can do a more of an exuberant, more kind of a crazy, you know, funny Steve Carell performance like we have here in Battle of the Sexes. They're both really great. I really enjoyed them in this movie. Yeah, like I said, it's not really deep, you know, but it did touch on those social and political themes. Maybe it didn't go as deep as some people might want it to, but I kind of like the fact that it wasn't really kind of in your face with the politics and all that, but it was definitely all still there, and it definitely all still came through to me anyway. It was just a little more kind of subtle, you know, and it wasn't just really, you know, in your face or anything, and I really liked that. Yeah, not much to say about this other than the fact that I really enjoyed the movie. A really kind of crowd-pleasing kind of film, very stylish, had that 70s feel to it, you know. It very much felt like they went back in time and filmed in the 70s to really capture the essence of that time period and that whole essence of the story and those characters and everything that happened. And I actually really enjoyed this movie, a real crowd pleaser. So there we go, Battle of the Sexes. And there we have it. That wraps up this second part of my weekly vlog here at the London Film Festival. So Good Time, Last Flag Flying, Battle of the Sexes, and so far, yeah, I've really enjoyed all of the films I've seen. I don't know if I'd give any of the films I've seen so far 5 stars. Nothing's like really blown me away and completely knocked my socks off. However, that being said, I have really enjoyed everything I've seen so far, and the great thing is I didn't plan this. I just, you know, got tickets for the films I was most interested in. But the great thing about the films that I've seen so far is that not only have they all been really great, but they've all been very different. They're all really different films, tonally and thematically, and I really enjoyed that because, you know, they're all films I was really interested in, all films I really wanted to see. It's only after watching them all kind of back to back and realising that not only are they all really good and doing a really great job in what they were trying to do, but they're all very different films from one another. So it's kind of really hard to kind of compare them and rank them against one another. I don't know if I really could do that because I enjoyed them all. I thought have all been really great so far anyway, but they've all been very different from one another. So they've all been really great at doing what they were trying to do. So yeah, I've liked them all to varying degrees. I'll probably give them all so far around like 4 stars. Like I said, nothing's really knocked my socks off or really blown me away, but I have really enjoyed everything I've seen so far. And wrapping this up now, I'll be doing one more of these vlogs toward the end of my week here at the London Film Festival, and that'll be on the final 3 films I see. But as of right now, I've been David O'Sullivan. I'll see you next time.